Welcome back,
Oh, you're
everybody.
okay.
It's Harry Potter again, episode 3.
Yeah, this is the third episode, as Michael just said, and it's Harry Potter, as Michael also just said. And
Yeah,
oh,
we're in
Michael,
we're in
what
the
what house are you?
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
Yeah,
I actually don't know. I remember I think I was Hufflepuff
you
when I
were. We
did it.
said it in the first episode.
Oh, that's right, we did. But it's they're pretty spread out. Um,
You could take the quiz again if you want.
I just knocked into the mic. I'm like,
uh,
there's this light. It looks bad if I have it on or off, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I don't care, Tommy.
Yeah.
It's
Anyways,
time. We're in the second half of the series, and from this point on, all the movies are the same director.
David
Uh,
Yates, is that his name?
David Yates. Um, so today is Order of the Phoenix and Half Blood Prince. Um, so yeah, if you haven't seen the previous episodes where we do the first 4 movies, those are in the back half. Happy March. This is also pre-recorded, like
Oh
all our
yeah,
Harry
it's
Potter
literally
episodes will
March.
be. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is being recorded in January. So again, if an asteroid hit the Earth, we don't know.
Hmm. I
Um,
guess neither will you. Well, who knows?
I won't because I edit this before I put it out.
No,
So
no, I'm saying the viewer, because well, they wouldn't. Well, they would
I
know it
get
hit the Earth. They wouldn't know that we know that it didn't hit the Earth because they would have never heard the podcast.
right, and that's the
Exactly.
worst part of all.
Yeah.
You died before you got to see the thrilling conclusion to the Harry Potter episodes of SSMP.
Yeah. Please follow us,
More like
anybody.
SSHP for Harry Potter.
Something something Harry Potter. I
But
could
yeah,
do
we'll
it.
just roll right into it. We're doing Order of the Phoenix,
Yep, we
the
are doing
longest
Order of the
book
Phoenix.
and the shortest movie.
Yeah, so it starts out with Harry being a fucking creep and sitting on like the swings and like watching kids and and their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, he has none of those, Tommy.
yeah, it's true. He does not have kids.
She has no kids.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Um,
Albus Severus.
Good night.
Aww. That's Tommy's mom. I'm leaving that in. It was
Okay.
so cute. Right on. Why when we're talking about parents?
Yeah. Um, right as we're talking about dead parents, I'm gonna kill my mom. Give me one sec. Um, yeah. Anyways, what's his name? Dudley.
Yeah.
He gets Harry all pissed off, and then Harry goes to he brings out his wand, and the funny part about this is that all of Dudley's friends are like cackling, and Dudley's just sitting like, oh shit.
Yeah, like for all of Dudley's friends, like Harry's the equivalent of the kid who wears a fucking tail to school.
Yeah, literally. Do you think they know that they like? Do you think Dudley tells them like, oh yeah, he plays like wizard?
Probably. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you?
If
He
I was
plays
Dudley,
wizard.
yeah. I mean, I might do a little something. I'd fuck around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But then the Dementors come and they try to kill Dudley.
And they're dementing again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. I mean, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna just go through the whole movie and just talk about different parts? What do you want
Nah,
to do?
I mean for
We can
sake of
just start.
starting it out,
Yeah, yeah,
what do
you're
you
right.
like? What do
Um,
you like about this movie and dislike? And
so it's hmm. There are a couple things that I liked about this movie. The first is that um, it's it gets to it starts ramping up because you start to know that like okay, this Voldemort and Harry fight is gonna happen. Like this is the movie where you start to like okay, shit's about to go down, and
yeah,
there's the Order, which is pretty cool. I'm surprised that the Order isn't bigger, but I guess that's just like you know, it's just the story. That's just how it goes.
yeah,
Um, and I don't know. Sirius Black is really cool. I hate Umbridge, but that's the point.
Right. I
And
mean, Umbridge, I think, is the absolute like standout in this because she's so like
awful.
she's just like so evil. Like she's like the worst villain in the series. You know, you
Well,
hate her more than you hate Voldemort
yeah,
as the
sure.
viewer. You know, um, and they just, I mean, she that actress, she does a great job as Umbridge for
Yeah, thing
sure.
is, I actually don't know anything about her, but she's probably one of those people that I bet is just like a really nice lady in real
Oh
life,
yeah, and she got
and
cast as the
as the
epitome of evil.
horrible person. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's kind of sometimes how it pans out. Like the awful people who are the people who have to play like awful characters are usually just like the nicest people.
yeah, nice dudes.
Yeah,
Like Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos, probably a cool dude. I
yeah, I
don't
bet
know.
he's pretty cool.
Watch, he'll be canceled by the time this episode
He's been in a
airs.
couple other good movies. It was in No Country for Old Men. That was a good one. We should do that sometime.
He's in Deadpool 2 as well.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. Yeah. So this movie, I feel like to me, it's the most like. This is like if you're thinking of Harry Potter as a series, this is like the average Harry Potter movie. Like this feels like
It's middle of the road. There's
right
some good
smack
parts.
dab.
There's
Oh,
nothing
there's
too
plenty
bad
of good
about
parts.
it.
Oh no.
I can't think of many. I honestly can't think of anything that
I
was like
think
so
in a lot of
horrible.
ways this is I don't think it's better than the book, but I do think it's like the book feels really bloated
Hmm.
and I think this does a pretty good job of trimming that, but there's some stuff that they trim and it's like man, really should have kept that in.
Yeah, so I will say I think that because this is the shortest movie and it's the longest book, I think that kind of shows because there are things that I'm just like, wait, why the hell was this the case that was
Mhm.
included in the movie that wasn't fully explained? Um, and I imagine they just had to cut it out. Like, so Dumbledore's like whole purpose of why he like doesn't want to talk to Harry that much that year. What was it again? It was like
He wanted to protect Harry. He didn't want Harry to get too close to him. Because he thought it would be protecting him to like keep him in the dark about like everything about I don't know. He thought like it would
like
make
the
Harry a target for being close to Dumbledore. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't fucking really know.
yeah, I forget. It's some reason. It's something like because the Ministry is pulling some shit and he doesn't want Harry to get warped in or whatever.
Hmm.
But then at the end of the day, the Ministry is still like sucks.
Yeah, it does way
I don't
more
know.
damage to Harry to
Yeah, so
ignore him
it was
completely.
completely pointless. And then they also have like Luna Lovegood. Um, can you hear that?
I heard something, but
Okay, hold on. Can you pause it for 1 sec?
yeah, yeah. Shut up, Mom! I'm recording a podcast.
Um, so yeah, there's also Luna Lovegood, who I think is a pretty cool character, but
I think she's a good
she is
addition.
pointless in this movie. Like,
Mhm.
she could have just not been in it, and it would have been the same exact movie.
I quite like what they do with her in the next movie.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do agree. In the book, again, she has like way more to do, but in the movie, she shows up and has some wise
hello,
words for
Harry.
Harry, and then yeah,
Mm.
hi
She
Harry.
she kind of serves as the missing Dumbledore
Hmm.
for Harry, but like a younger female version.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. She's pretty cool. I think she's pretty
It's cool to
dope.
see
I
a
don't know.
Ravenclaw character. I think she's like the first one that gets like, I guess Cho Chang, but like she's the first real one that's like
Hmm.
an actual big character.
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot to mention this last week too, but this is the part of the series that I have coined the Angst Chronicles, where each member of our trio gets a full movie where they get to be incredibly angry. So it starts in movie 4 with Ron, where Ron is just a
He's
salty
also
motherfucker
he's
the
in
entire
Deadly
time.
Hollows Part One. He's also
Yeah, oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't count that simply because of the Horcrux presence, but
true, true.
then you have part 2, which is in this movie, which is Harry, who is miserable the entire time and snapping at everyone and yelling at everyone, making everybody feel bad and awkward. And then in the next one, it's Hermione, who, we'll get into more, but Hermione is very crabby throughout pretty much the entirety of the next one. So these three
Mhm.
movies, each character gets their turn to be very upset for almost an entire movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what Harry's things were. I mean, what does he do? He like
He
tries
goes,
to.
"Look at me!" when Dumbledore's ignoring him in
Oh yeah, yeah,
Dumbledore's
that's true.
office.
He literally snaps at little old Dumbledore.
Harry snapped. He went off.
The chain on my mood swing has snapped. I actually have that cup right there.
Yeah, for the viewers, I got Tommy a mug one Christmas for that says the chain on my mood swing just snapped. uh,
Um,
but yeah,
we both said same time.
uh,
Yeah. So
and then
uh,
Harry's always he's always just mad at Hermione and Ron, and he's like, "You don't understand all the weight I have on me." And it's like, they don't because they're not being possessed by Voldemort. But
yeah, they are not the chosen one, but like also like we get it. We knew we didn't have the weight that you had, but you don't need to keep
yeah,
reminding everybody.
he
He's kind of a little dick that way, but who knows?
is.
You know, his parents are dead, mine are not, so I don't understand. So
That's true. Uh, I do like I think Umbridge, like that part of the plot where she kind of comes in and like completely turns Hogwarts on its head and makes it, in all the other movies it has this very homey presence to it, just being in Hogwarts.
yeah,
And in this
not the
movie it's
case.
like it completely disappears, and I think the viewer feels that too,
Yeah,
which
and
I think
also
is pretty cool.
one of the downsides to this movie
Mm-hmm.
um, is that it doesn't really explore Hogwarts as much because like the past four movies were kind of like shit like shit from Hogwarts, different in every single movie. Like you would see
Yeah.
this room and that room, and in this movie it's just like all right, we see the rooms that we already saw before.
Well, the room of requirement.
Oh, true, 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 true. But
That's a
that's
big
like
thing.
yeah, I guess you're right. But like I don't know. I felt like there was less exploration of Hogwarts in this movie. It's probably
Yeah.
different in the book, but yeah, I think it was they still like explored the greater world at hand, which was probably
Yeah,
more
this one's
important.
kind of about like this is where you finally really see the ministry
Hmm.
like up close. We go into
And
the
also like
ministry
the
at the beginning.
ministry, they don't like all they do is in the movie, which is one of my complaints, is that like basically the reason for like Umbridge and so many of the problems that are present in the movie is that the ministry is just stubborn and like
Hmm.
that's it. There's no like actual problem at hand. They're just being like silly and stubborn like 5-year-old kids.
Yeah, they as soon as he comes back though, they do admit they're like, "Oh, he's back." Like which is nice that like as soon as he sees him, he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I was wrong. You're right. I'm sorry." like, but you know what, Tommy is like as frustrating as it is, like considering how many people like refuse to wear a mask and like admit that this shit's real.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
it's more realistic
It's
than I
like you
think.
see he at least saw the facts and saw that Voldemort was literally there and was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, I was wrong. I was being an idiot and I was wrong." But like here it's like, they see the facts and they're just like, "Well,
Well,
eh."
anyone could have made that up.
Yeah. I mean, the ballots were handled bad.
uh, um, but yeah, so I think this movie also is like in a tricky position because it's like that. It's the real transition movie from like Hogwarts misadventures to more like okay, we're getting into the crux of the plot of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the main plot is that Harry keeps having these visions of this room in the ministry with a bunch of prophecies in it, and that Voldemort eventually baits him into coming there. Um,
And
so
Harry sees different people in the room.
right, and this is when we learn about like the prophecy and Voldemort.
We
And this
learn
is
about
again,
I was gonna
uh,
say we learn about Voldemort's massive snake.
oh yeah, his big meaty schlong. So, but I think this is one of those points in the movie where, first of all, like the battle in the Ministry is like way cooler in the book. Like they're going through a bunch of like weird ass rooms and shit, and like getting
Oh, that's
attacked by
cool.
stuff, and it's just so much cooler. And in this, they're kind of just running through, a glass ball museum, and I think putting some of that in would have made like the end more thrilling and make it more fun to watch. Kind of
Mhm.
like the tasks, in book
Goblet of Fire.
4, or yeah, Goblet of Fire, and like the little obstacle course in Sorcerer's Stone. I think that would have made the climax a little more enjoyable to watch, and also like the prophecy. It's not like that fleshed out in the movie.
I think in the movie it literally says like one sentence of it, or I think they
Yeah,
might
and is
just
it like
mention
the
it.
neither can live while the other survives or something?
Yeah, that might be in the sixth, or maybe it's in the fifth. I don't know.
But in the book, it's like a lot more. It has a lot more importance to it because it's like you first of all you learn that Professor Trelawney made the prophecy. Like it was,
Oh, really?
yeah, right. So like
That's sick.
and that's why Dumbledore hired her, even though she's kind of like a kook. It's because he knew like she had the potential to make like actual predictions.
Oh, wait,
And
she says it, right? Doesn't she?
no, she says something different in book
Okay.
3,
Okay,
where
yeah.
or movie 3. For fuck's sake, I keep saying book. Where she's like, "The Dark Lord will rise once again," blah, blah, But in this one,
Yeah, where she did not exhale in that entire scene.
uh, but the prophecy in the book is a lot more like it's about how Snape overheard her making the prophecy, and he reported it back to Voldemort, but he only listened to the first half. So he
Mhm.
missed a part of the prophecy where it said like the Dark Lord will mark the boy as his equal and like give him half of his power or something. And the cool thing about the prophecy in the book that's not even touched upon in the movie is that it all the prophecy says is that it's a boy born at the end of July. Um, so that applies to Harry, obviously, but it also applies to Neville Longbottom.
Mhm.
So either of them could have been the chosen one, but Voldemort like chose to make it Harry,
Harry.
which also has some plot relevance when we get to like the revelations around Snape. Um, but yeah, so I think if they had explored all that stuff a little bit more, I think the prophecy in the movie would make a little more sense because this is the thing that drives the entire plot. Is like this is what Voldemort overheard, and it was the entire reason that Harry's parents got killed and everything. And it gives us what has to happen, which is that one of them has to die, which I've always found kind of weird because like like they always made a big deal over as like, oh, only one of them can live. Like, yeah, no fucking shit.
Mhm.
It's fucking duh. Like I figured they knew that.
I was just, you know what? You guys are all right. You can have some fun.
But yeah, I think the most fun part of this movie is the Dumbledore's army part where Harry
Yeah,
teaches them
the
defense
that
against the dark
was
arts.
it was pretty cool, and yeah, Harry just like teaches everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
he, I don't know, it was
I just like that
there were
for
definitely some cool scenes
Harry
in it.
because it seems like something very in line with him to be a good teacher like that, and he is like
Yeah,
good at it. He's
yeah, no,
got everyone making Patronuses and stuff.
he who was the person that like sent him flying when in the beginning? Do you remember?
Sent Harry flying in the
Yeah,
Dumbledore's army thing.
yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't think it was.
I know Hermione sent Ron flying, but I don't remember
Mhm. There's
who it
someone
was.
that like popped Harry on his ass. I forget who. Um, but yeah, that scene's a lot of fun, and it's it's funny to see how Umbridge is like they know that what they know what's going on, but like
Mm-hmm.
um, she just can't. But we should I don't know. Should we talk a little bit more about Umbridge because she is like one of the main characters of this movie.
Oh, definitely, yeah. She's like totally down with torturing children.
Yeah, not even totally down. I think she's like
She enjoys it.
She enjoys it. She's
She
into it.
did like there's a pen that she has that carves whatever they write into their hand.
Hmm.
Um, like Jesus fucking Christ, woman. And I really like the conversation that she has with McGonagall, where McGonagall's like, we don't use those medieval methods in this school or whatever. And it's one of the few conversations I can think of in Harry Potter where like they're actually framing the characters in a way that is meant to enhance the scene. So like Umbridge is above McGonagall on the stairs, and then
Yeah,
McGonagall
she
says
takes it
something and she steps up,
takes a step up. Yeah.
right? And then Umbridge says something and McGonagall steps like back down.
Hmm.
Just there's like a simple way to show it visually, but like an effective way to show it. And yeah, I think one of the positives about this movie is like you really feel the presence from like Dumbledore and stuff. Like there's the scene where Trelawney's being kicked out of the school,
Yeah, and
and
Dumbledore
he
saves the day.
yeah, and you just
Says no,
feel
no,
that
no, no.
like yeah, you just feel that presence that like everything's gonna be fine
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
Dumbledore's
literally,
here.
when I was like, "Oh, this sucks," and then because I forgot I hadn't seen the movie in a while, then Dumbledore came, like, oh, "Okay, we're good, we're good."
Hell yeah.
That's
But
my
also
dog.
like
That's my boy.
Umbridge is just the worst. She makes Hagrid fucking uh
Yeah, she tries to like.
Hagrid leave.
Hmm.
Or I don't know if he
And
actually
then she,
leaves.
unfortunately, she doesn't die.
She does not
Um,
know.
she gets. I don't know what the hell happens to her. The centaurs like take her, and who knows what happened. Surely just they just
Yeah.
said, you know,
It's a part
stop.
of this movie that I've always found kind of stupid.
What's that?
Grop.
That's the
Hagrid's
giant.
giant. Yeah.
Yeah, that it's there for like. This is the only movie it's in, and
Yeah.
it's there for one scene, or sorry, two scenes, and
Hmm.
that's it.
That's something from the book. It's like totally didn't even need to include that. Then if you're not gonna.
It could have just been the centaurs.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. That could have been Hermione's plan to just lead her to the acromantulas or the centaur or something.
yeah.
The spiders, I mean, the acromantulas.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I said, this is just kind of the middle of the road one for me. It's like there's a lot to, there's plenty of good stuff, but
The ending's pretty cool with the fight between Dumbledore and Voldemort.
oh yeah, that's what I wanted. So that fight is probably the best in the entire series because it's
Pretty
like
good.
the two most powerful wizards just like
Going
going
in.
all at it.
Yeah.
And the way that like Voldemort's spells are all like super like fiery and destructive, while Dumbledore's always like using water and like
Yeah, there's that scene where Voldemort breaks all the glass in the Ministry and sends it flying at Harry and Dumbledore. So
yeah,
Dumbledore puts up a force shield and it like turns all the
turns to
glass
sand.
into sand,
Yeah,
which is really cool.
and you really like that's the scene where you're like, oh shit, yeah, Dumbledore actually is a fucking badass because like he's doing
Because
all the shit, and then
he's
he's
wise,
pushing
but
Harry to the side and shit.
yeah, because like before this, we were just like, all right, Dumbledore's like a really wise guy.
What a wise
What a
guy.
wise guy. But
Why I oughta.
and and then in this movie during that scene, we're just like, oh shit, he's packing the, you know, he keeps that thing on him.
Packing the schmeat.
Yeah, he really is packing the schmeat. But yeah, he's
The scene
badass.
where Harry gets possessed is a little goofy. When Voldemort climbs into Harry's body and he's like, "You'll never know love or
Yeah, I thought
friendship."
that was a little cringe. It was like, okay, like what do you think? What do you
Hermione's like, kind of cringe, bro.
think? Yeah, like you think Voldemort like went to bed that night being like
Yeah,
like crying like
Fucking
I don't
loser.
know love, like yeah, no, he's definitely like killing children that night. He does not give a shit about love it like in the first place.
Yeah, and there's also like this weird shot of Voldemort with like where he's just like kind of like hey hey hey, and like there's like this really weird green screen behind him,
Oh
just
really?
like
I don't
black
remember that.
smoke. Yeah,
Oh, I'll have to see it.
it's pretty funny. Um, another funny scene
What's that?
that Harry describes his first kiss with Cho as wet.
I was actually gonna bring up the Harry and Cho kiss, because watching it, I have one note. I have a single note from watching Order of the Phoenix, and it's that Harry is a bad kisser. Did you see like when they kissed? I don't know if this was just like awkwardness or whatever. It probably was. They didn't want to be like too weird, but like
Mhm.
it's an awkward kiss. Like
It's
they
very
are
awkward.
both stiff up until the face, and after that, they're just like they're only moving their lips. They are completely unmoving and everything. But once like just at the tip of their lips, they're just moving it around, and it's like
Yeah.
oh boy, this is creepy.
Hmm. Yeah. And he's like, it was wet. Like, dude, that's it's pretty gross. She's crying over
Yeah.
her dead boyfriend.
Hmm.
And you're like, couldn't dry yourself off. Get a paper towel.
Yeah, well, that's Harry for you. And I think there's a couple like indications that Ron and Hermione are little bit friendly, right?
What, that they're like kind of getting closer?
Yeah, I think, right?
Oh yeah, like when they're training and stuff, they're always like, um, you know, I don't know, whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
like? I just really like
I was gonna
Dumbledore's
say, yeah, you know what I
Dumbledore's
like?
army.
Half Blood Prince. Let's move on. Yeah,
uh,
Dumbledore's army is cool.
I just like I like the scene where they're in the Hog's Head and he's kind of explaining. He's like, that's not how it goes in the real world. Like you watch people die, and
Mhm.
it fucking sucks. You know. Um, I just I thought I've always thought that speech from him was like really good and does a really good job of like showing Harry that he's not really in it for like any form of he doesn't want to be known as like the kid who did
The
all
boy
this
who
shit,
lives.
but yeah, but he likes the fact that he's able to teach people and help people, and you get the sense from when he's teaching people that he's like really satisfied doing it because he has like a natural talent for dark art, defense against the dark arts.
Yeah, I also imagine like seeing Voldemort kill a kid helped him,
Oh
like to
sure.
feel pretty motivated.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Before this guy was kind of just like a little goblin, but now he's like, all right, he's
Yeah,
actually killing my friends and shit.
like right, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, he's like, okay,
You're
Voldemort, you're on the back of some guy's head. Okay, cutie, whatever.
got
But
me.
now,
Oh,
whoa. We should talk about Sirius too. Um, so Sirius Black dies,
he's
and
seriously dead.
he's seriously injured and dies.
Gary
Um,
Oldman
and I have two big
becomes
thoughts about
Gary
this.
Dillman.
I have two big thoughts about this. One is that it I think they needed a lot more build up for Sirius. Like we needed to see a lot more of him and Harry interacting for that to be as impactful as it should be. Um I mean it's sad, but it's not like um you feel a lot more in the next movie when Dumbledore dies, or in the previous movie when Cedric dies even. Um
Yeah, like
I,
I don't know. I imagine if I was like eating Pringles while watching this movie, and like I got to the last Pringle, or like I stuck my hand in and I realized there were no more left, I'd probably be more sad of that than when Sirius Black died, because he is just not really in the movie all that much. He was barely in the one before. He was a decently big part of the
the third
Azkaban,
one.
but he's just not that big of a character for me to like really, really care.
Yeah. He and also the other thing that I've always been like is like I don't know why he needed to fall through the veil
Yeah,
thing
what
instead
was
of
the
just
point
dying.
of that?
There isn't one. So it's like, this thing that like only Harry and Luna can hear voices coming from. And I think the assumption is that it's like a gateway to the afterlife or whatever. But
But if he died, wouldn't he have already just?
right, but it seems like, on paper, when you look at something like that, Sirius dies in this like special way where he goes through the veil. Like that seems like set up for him to actually not be dead, you know? But like
Yeah,
considering the fact that he does come back, it just kind of seems like a waste because like why introduce this new thing, this new concept, but
what's
it,
yeah?
it
There's
doesn't
no
have any
point to it.
point.
But
Yeah.
then he flies through it, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, because
Whatever.
when he goes through it, you're like, oh, maybe he's not dead, and that's what Harry thinks in the book. He's like, oh, he's not dead, but there's nothing like that. I don't know. I've always just thought it was kind of a stupid addition.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, pretty good
yeah,
movie. I'll go to Chad.
yeah. I'll also give it a Chad because, like I said, it's just more of that, more of that Harry Potter charm and shit.
Yeah.
I will say there's a chapter in the book, and it's right when Harry gets to Grimmauld Place, where he verbally like berates Ron and Hermione, like
Go for
all
him.
caps, screams at them because like
Oh
no one
shit.
was allowed to write him letters over the summer because of Dumbledore. Dumbledore told them not to, and he's just like
Uh,
he's going off. Like you feel bad. You're like Harry, man, chill out.
was he pissed at Dumbledore and them for not writing?
He was pissed at all of them.
Oh,
Oh, also Fred and George, their escape.
their escape?
Yeah, they leave during the OWLs. Remember with the fireworks?
Oh, I didn't realize they escaped. I remember that.
Well, it's not really an escape. They quit school.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was actually pretty cool.
That was a pretty fun
Um,
bit.
it was pretty fun. I like that.
And they go open their joke shop.
Yep. Is
And on
that
that note,
was that the next? It was the next movie when they opened their jump shot. How much older
yeah,
are they than like the crew?
they're I think they're 1 year older. Maybe they're 2 years older. I'm not quite sure. They're two. I think they're 2 years older.
Okay, so that was maybe just their graduation or something.
Yeah. Because I think Hogwarts students don't have to go to their 7th year. Like they can leave school early after their 6th.
That's cool.
The 7th is like a bonus year. Anyway, moving on. Half Blood Prince.
Yeah,
I like this one a lot.
me too. I actually really liked it.
I think this one it's also my favorite book, but it's very different from the book in like one major way. Like the book is really focused. It's like almost all about Voldemort and his past. And you spend like a huge chunk of the book just like Dumbledore showing Harry the pensieve and they're going into different memories about Voldemort.
Hmm.
In the movie, it's a lot more focused on like the teen part of it and like Harry, Hermione, Ron, and then also Dumbledore and Harry and Dumbledore's relationship. Um, so they're kind of two different things. But I think this was like oddly a really good mix of like the darker tone, but like still feels like a fun, kind of innocent, quirky teen movie. Like there's some like funny like bits in it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's just like some.
I'm trying to think of the funnier bits. There's
There's a
this
part
one
where.
part. Oh, you
Okay,
can
go.
go.
No,
Oh,
you
okay.
go.
There's
No, you go.
this, no, yeah. Yeah, there's this part in the beginning where the three of them, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, are like talking about Dumbledore, and someone asks like, "Oh, how old is he?" And then Ron goes, "He's about 150, I think, give or take a few years." And for some reason, this is the
They
funniest
find it
joke.
absolutely hilarious.
They literally laugh for like 20 seconds, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like it's not that funny, guys.
Yeah.
But they just are eating it up.
The part I actually think is like genuinely a funny bit is there's a part where they're at Slughorn's party and
Mhm.
Snape comes up to Harry and he's like, the headmaster wanted me to inform you that he won't be able to be back until after break, but he wishes you a good break or whatever. And Harry's like, where did he go? And Snape just looks at him and then he walks away and doesn't answer.
What was like the code? Was that like some kind of code or something?
No, it's like,
It was just him telling him to have a good break.
yeah, no, Dumbledore is just saying like, oh, I'm not going to be meeting with you before break.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but this movie it spends a lot more time with Snape and Draco, surprisingly. Like Draco has
Yeah.
a good amount of screen time.
I will
And
make the unforgivable bond. I can't do the Snape voice. What's the bond he does? What's the bond called?
the unbreakable vow.
Unbreakable. I can't. I'm not gonna do it anymore. Maybe
Make
one more
the
time.
unbreakable vow. I'm sorry
Um,
for viewers, that's terrible.
um,
So yeah, Draco's tasked with killing Dumbledore, and
he's
he
too
keeps
pussy.
fucking it up.
He is so like he can't do it. He's a little
Mhm.
bitch.
He's conflicted.
Yeah. Um, he's like crying a bunch in the movie. It's kind of
Hmm.
sad.
You know what's
And
a fun part of the movie?
what's that?
I absolutely like, I think it's the most fun part, one of the most fun parts of the entire series. Like when Harry takes Felix Felicis and he's just like, he's walking around, and he's just being such a little goon to like everyone. Like,
Oh yeah, he's literally the good luck potion.
yeah,
He is. I think they just told him like act drunk,
yeah.
and he's
Like,
he's like he's smiling. He's asking everybody like weird questions.
Slughorn's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, or what does Slughorn say? He says, "Harry," and
You're not supposed to
Harry's
be
just
off
like,
the grounds without.
"Sir."
Yeah, he goes like, you're not supposed to be off the grounds, um, without a teacher after dark. And then Harry goes, well, why don't you come with
Yeah,
me?
by all means, come along, sir.
It's, he's such a little fucker. It's
It's
so
a funny
funny.
bit where he drinks the Felix Felicis and he's like, "Right, I'm gonna go to Hagrid's."
I have a good feeling about it.
I have a really good feeling about going to Hagrid's.
And then like, oh, what was it? Him, Slughorn and Hagrid like are drunk and they're just like singing the song. And Harry, after they finish, Harry's like, he's so happy, he's clapping.
And Aragog dies, and Hagrid's like, people were put by him for some reason, probably the eyes. There he goes, and the pincers.
Yeah, he does a little hand motion.
That part's really fun. I like seeing Harry act like that because it's what Harry would be like if he was not doom and gloom all the time.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy. I would hang out with him.
Yeah. It also you know, like I said, Hermione's like pretty crabby in this movie because Ron gets a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I think most of the stuff surrounding Ron and Lavender's, it's pretty funny. Like the part where they're in the train and she comes up to him and she starts like fogging up the glass with her breath and then draws like a heart and puts like L plus R, and Ron's just got like this face on while he's watching her do it. And Harry's just like playing with the thing in the middle of the train seats.
Oh yeah, no, I was actually gonna bring that up. There's like this though, like if you're in a car and if there's like the middle seat, and sometimes the middle seat has like this little thing that you can pull down and has like a cup holder.
Yeah.
And while that's going on, Harry just like pulls it down and pulls it back up, then pulls it back down.
It's like,
It's so
I don't know.
funny.
I feel like this movie really nailed how teenagers actually like act in those kind of
Yeah,
situations, and they're really fun.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That was great. I also really liked how Harry like didn't give him the good luck potion when
oh
they were
yeah,
playing
that was
Quidditch.
cute.
Um,
Yeah, because Ron thinks that Harry slipped some luck potion into his pumpkin juice or whatever.
yeah, because Ron's very like nervous about the Quidditch game that he's
Yeah,
like gonna start in, and he's like, I need this good luck juice. So Harry gives it to him,
but
and
he didn't actually put it in his
he
drink.
didn't actually. And then
He
Ron like
placeboed
plays.
him.
Ron played amazing.
I like that part where Hermione's like, you shouldn't have done that. It's illegal." And Harry just like holds up the full vial, and she's like, "You didn't put it in." And he just shakes his head. Like he
Hmm.
doesn't say anything. You can tell how proud of himself
Yeah,
he
he was
is.
like, I did that. What there's like there's another world where Ron just like shit the bed in
Oh
that
yeah,
game.
and Harry's like,
Must have been effective.
"Yeah, I guess it doesn't work." But yeah, so my biggest gripe with this movie is kind of the overall plot, which is the Half Blood Prince thing.
Mhm.
It's presented to us that he gets the book, and it says property of the Half Blood Prince, and it makes Harry become like amazing at potions. And when it's revealed who the Half Blood Prince is, it kind of feels like not that big of a deal because the characters were never like really that adamant about trying to figure out who it was.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like they spent the entire book like, who could this be? Like it kind of, they bring it up like a couple times, and then Snape reveals that he's the Half Blood Prince at the end.
Yeah, the whole Half Blood for a movie that's called The Half Blood Prince, it definitely
Mm-hmm.
did not need to be called the Half-Blood Prince because it's so, like, that whole plot line is so overlooked. And, like, you barely spend
so cool.
You barely spend any time on Snape. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, there's some other good stuff that comes from the Half-Blood Prince plot, like Harry accidentally almost killing Draco in the bathroom. Like, he uses a spell from the book without actually knowing what it does, and he literally almost kills Draco.
Yeah, Draco's like bleeding on the floor, and then Snape has to fix him. Also, this is a movie where we learn about Horcruxes.
Yeah, that's the other part of the plot, is that Harry has to get the Horcrux information from Slughorn. So he has to get all buddy with him, and then with the Felix Felicis thing we were talking about earlier, he actually gets it from him, and then the viewer learns what Horcruxes are. And I think it's a really cool concept.
It is really cool.
And I like the way it sets up. I love the plot of 7 and 8 is just like a big scavenger hunt, because it just, I think there's so many fun stuff that comes from that, like, fact that they have to just go out and find all this stuff, and they don't know where to start. And
they don't know what it will be or what it is. They don't know where it is. Yeah. And they're just like, well, shit.
So yeah, and the movie ends with them hunting down the first one, which is, I think that whole part is so cool. Like, there from pretty much till the end of the movie is just like really cool Harry Potter stuff, because that whole cave thing where there's all the dead bodies and the potion that he has to force feed Dumbledore.
Yeah. Oh, wait, sorry. This is a complete side note, but I don't know why this is. You know the video Potion Seller?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Never mind. That's just it. I just want to know if you knew what the Potion Seller video was. If you're watching and you don't know what that is, just type in Potion Seller to YouTube, and it's pretty fun. But no, I would say that's probably my favorite scene in the movie, where Harry and Dumbledore are just in the cave, and Dumbledore is he's acting like a little baby that doesn't want to eat his food.
He's like, no more, please.
And then Harry's like, this will be the last one. Like, you could literally put in a mom and a baby.
Yeah, Harry's like, here it comes.
Yeah.
So was it pretty badass when Dumbledore does like huge like ring of fire though,
and then like the pathway. And Harry, I forgot where it was. He tries to get the little scoopy thing in the water, and then was it basically the gist of that was like you can't touch the water or else they'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. Those are all dead, like reanimated dead bodies called like Inferi. And what's interesting is, how they open the locket and it says RAB?
Yep.
And they have to track down who RAB is. It ends up being Sirius's brother Regulus, who portrayed Voldemort. What's interesting is that he's actually in that lake as one of those reanimated dead bodies, because he died.
Oh, really?
Putting the Horcrux there, yeah. His house elf is the one who made it out with the Horcrux.
So he wrote the note? Mm-hmm. The house elf wrote the note? Oh, okay.
No, I think Regulus wrote the note, but the house elf took it back. Like, that was like his last order, was like, get this away and keep it safe or whatever.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. But anyway, and then you go back to the school, and then you have probably the most monumental moment in the entire series.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of the moments where everybody is just like, oh yeah, I remember that scene.
Mm-hmm. Because picture this:
Dumbledore gets a colonoscopy.
Yeah. Picture this, viewers. You've never read the books, you've never seen the movies. In the theater for the first time, Dumbledore's being held at a wand point, and and you don't know what's gonna happen, and then you see Snape, this man who Dumbledore trusted the entire time, and you're like, oh, thank God, like we're gonna be fine.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then Snape fucking kills him. And you're like, that was like the most insane shit at the time. Like I remember being on iFunny and shit, and that was the spoiler that people just put everywhere. Like Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And people were like, what the fuck? And it was just such a good like scene where it like immediately puts the viewer in the shoes of Harry, where you're like, what the fuck? Fuck you, dude. Are you kidding me?
How dare you stand where he stood?
uh yeah, and that's a pretty, sad moment when they all just hold their wands up
Yeah.
after like he
I was gonna
dies.
I don't know how I don't remember if they did that in the book, like where everybody just held up their wands. But that was a dope scene that like I think that like you can only do that kind of scene in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little bit emotional. I was like, damn.
Yeah, because you feel like all that's like it. Like, once Dumbledore dies, like that's when you feel like all the safety for Harry and everyone is gone. Because,
Hmm.
you know, he he was just a fucking man. Every time something was bad, when Dumbledore showed up, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Thank
We're
God.
chilling. We're chilling.
Yeah. Um, so that's a pretty sad scene. And then,
And
the end of the
Malfoy was
movie is
supposed to kill him,
mhm.
but I do you think he was gonna? Because like they like play it up the whole time that like, oh, Malfoy's too scared to do it, but like he gets there and Malfoy's just kind of chilling for like literally 30 seconds, and then Snape comes in and is like, nah, I got this. You can't do it.
Yeah, I don't think Draco was gonna, because
Yeah.
Draco's like always been a pretty, like he's never been like irredeemably evil, like
He's a far he's in between like, well, probably not in between. If like the spectrum of evil goes from like Voldemort to Zuko, then like he's closer to Zuko's side, but he's definitely not there.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
it does feel like they were setting up a redemption arc that they never quite fully go through
Yeah,
with.
the redemption arc is that he goes to Voldemort's side and then dips once the fighting begins.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so I think this movie like really nails the ending, and you have the bit where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are just like, "Oh, I guess this is it. Like, we're going off on this big journey." And Harry's like, "I got to go alone," and Hermione's like, "You fucking crazy?" She's like, "Come on, man. We did all this shit together. We're still coming with you." And I like that moment. It's like, "Aw,
Yeah,
they're
I will
like
say,
they're like really best friends."
yeah, it was really nice to see that, they just support Harry no matter what. And like sometimes it's like, no, I don't want you guys to get hurt. And they're just like, stop being selfish, dude. Like, we're signing up for this. Like, you don't,
Yeah.
But I will say this is the sixth movie in a row that like, or not the sixth, this out of all the movies up to this point, every single one of them has had to end on some sort of like happy-ish note, no matter what happened before that.
Oh yeah.
So like, especially in the past, that one and the two before it, they did not end on happy notes. They were quite somber. One was Voldemort returned and he killed an innocent boy, and they literally ended it on Ron going, "Oh, are we ever gonna have a quiet year?"
Yeah. More
and then
days.
and then on the next one, they Voldemort. It was known that Voldemort returned, and everybody, like the Ministry, was aware of this. So it was the world finding out that Voldemort was back, and they still ended it on like a, "Oh, we can fight him. We're gonna do this."
Oh yeah.
And
It's
then
like we
this
have
one,
something they don't have. Something worth fighting for.
yeah, and then this one, Dumbledore literally dies. Like, all hope is lost, and they still end it off like, we'll probably,
Yeah.
we're probably okay.
I think it's least defensive in this case only because it feels like,
It's not as happy as
it's
the
not as
other
happy.
two.
It's more like a peace with what's happening rather than
There's
like,
a glimmer of hope. Is I
yeah.
think, yeah.
In terms of some of the more fun funny shit about this movie. There's a part at the Slug Club dinner where Ginny walks into the room and she's been crying, and Harry stands up for no reason.
Yeah. That was really funny.
It's like really, really awkward.
Harry just
Everyone looks at him.
Yeah, she comes in, Hermione literally goes, her eyes are red, her and Dean have been fighting, and then Harry, the valiant knight, stands up, looks at her,
Sorry, m'lady.
and then Slughorn goes, Harry, is everything all right? Then he looks at him and just drops
Says,
back down.
Chin up, my queen. Your tiara is falling. Yeah, the romance between Harry and Ginny is a little weird. It
Yeah.
kind of comes out of left field, and there's not much chemistry between the two of them.
No,
But
unfortunately not.
in the book, like it's a lot more understandable.
It's a lot hotter in the book.
It's so much better when those two 16-year-olds fall in love. In the book, like their first kiss is after like Harry had been suspended from Quidditch for, fucking almost killing Malfoy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his punishment. He was being suspended from soccer. So, and then like
Could you imagine that happens in real life? Like, what if a kid just like brought a knife to a soccer match and like stabbed another player? And they're like, all right, this is too far.
Yeah, you're out. You're sitting on the
benched.
bench.
You're benched next game.
But in the book, they end up winning the Quidditch World Cup anyway. And like in the heat of the moment, Harry just kisses her.
Oh,
And it's like, aw.
well,
And then they spend the rest of the book being like actual boyfriend and girlfriend.
that's cute.
And then, yeah. So they're a lot cuter in the book. And this one is kind of, she's like, your shoelace is untied. And
Yeah,
bends down.
that was a
bends down.
weird thing where she goes.
You know why
like,
else
is
it's
there-
weird? You're already
Well-
in the house for the night. Why do you need your shoe tied?
That is weird. I was gonna go
Like-
with the more sexual
Oh,
innuendo
yeah.
where this girl just like your shoes untied and like bends down. I'm like, oh no, they aren't gonna. But then she just I don't know why it's that moment. Just
That would have been an
shouldn't
odd direction for it to go.
Yeah, it would have been very odd. But I'm just saying it was like really unnecessary. I don't know. She's like, your shoe's untied. Then she ties his shoe, then stands back up, and that's it.
Yeah, and then
There's
like the
just
house
no
blows
point.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also weird because like I said, Ginny's in her bathrobe, so it's like you're already done for the night, right? Like
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if your shoes are tied.
Harry
It's
has
really
his shoes. Harry has his shoes on. Ginny has her bathrobe on, and this just
Yeah.
like the clothes chemistry is already off.
right. So it's like,
Uh,
oh, maybe Harry is going somewhere. Like he's dressed like
Yeah,
he could
what
be
if?
going somewhere.
Maybe that's why she tied his shoe.
Oh, she knew he was going to like
Yeah.
muck the gutters or whatever at
3 broomsticks.
11 o'clock at night.
Harry.
Yeah, that whole part where they burn down the burrow, that's not even in the book at all. It's completely made it for the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. It's not like a bad scene or anything.
No, I mean for the house, for the burrow.
Oh, sure. There's a.
But actually, you know what? It was good that Ginny tied his shoe because they did go out.
Yeah, he had to run.
Yeah, you know what? That is probably why they made. I bet Daniel Radcliffe had his shoe untied, and it's like instead
Oh, it's improvised.
Yeah, that's improvised.
And the directors were like, "We're keeping it. We gotta keep
Such
it."
a good scene.
Yeah, but there's also Cormac McLagan is a really fucking funny character.
That is a pretty funny character. He has
he's
the
always
hots for
like-
Hermione.
Yeah, he's like, "Where's your friend Miss Granger?" He's really horny for Hermione, and I like the part where he throws up on Snape's shoes, and
Yeah.
Harry tries to walk away, and Snape's just like, "Not another step, Mr.
Mis-
Potter." It's like, why is he even in trouble now, dude? Come on,
Like
You're-
a different dude.
clear
threw up on
bias is
yours.
showing.
Oh, well, I think he. I don't know.
Thought Harry made him throw up or something.
Maybe.
Oh, so I meant.
Well,
to
I
talk
mean,
about
he
this
did.
earlier.
He did make him throw up, which is.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I meant to talk about this earlier, but the reason I like Luna in this movie is Harry like decides to take her to Slughorn's party, he says like, oh, I'm gonna take someone cool, and he takes Luna, and I was like, that's just a really nice,
Yeah.
like that feels like Harry's being a genuinely like, I want to take someone I actually enjoy being around, not like thinking she's weird or taking her because everyone else thinks she's weird.
I think Luna is probably one of the nicest characters in the series. She's just so uncontroversial and
Yeah,
very, very
unproblematic.
kind of like Neville. I would
Yeah,
hope that her and Neville, you know, kick it off.
get into cahoots.
Yeah.
Also, there's another kind of funny bit I like, which is when they're in the library and Harry's like, I just thought you and I could go together as friends. And Hermione's like, I didn't think of that. And then she tells Harry that like Romilda Vane has the hots for him. And he's like, really? And he like looks at her and Hermione's like, it's only because she thinks you're the chosen one. He's like, I am the chosen one.
Yeah, this is probably, now thinking about it, this is probably the one where I like Harry the most.
Yeah, definitely.
He's so great in this one. He's really
He is.
funny. He's just I still love that the train seat.
Yeah, where he's full of the
I love that.
Also, when I think Ron's also really funny in this movie when he's on the love potion. I thought that was another really fun. Yeah, and he's like, I'm in love with her, and Harry's like, all right, so you're in love with her, whatever. And Ron's like, no, like Romilda. And like, I don't know. Rupert Grint has a fucking funny, stupid face, and he does a good job with those like expressions.
Mm-hmm. And then he gets poisoned.
Oh yeah, and then he gets poisoned. Nice. We didn't talk about that either. And Katie Bell touches the cursed necklace thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is another funny bit when they're in the Three Broomsticks, and there's like just this weird beat between Ron and Hermione where Ron's like, "You've got a like milk mustache."
Well, because I think it was to show like Hermione was like a little tipsy, because the very next scene was Hermione, like Ron and Harry are walking out of the Three Broomsticks like very normally, like and then she's just like, "Woo, these are my best friends!" And like she puts both her arms over them, and then like it goes from that to this lady or this student being possessed and like almost killed.
Yeah,
which was a bit
Hermione
of a weird
immediately
transition.
sobers up.
Yeah.
I also like the bit where McGonagall's like, "Why is it when something goes wrong, it's always you three?"
Yeah.
Ron's like, "I've been asking myself that all this time." Like I said, I feel like this is the one where they act the most like a group of friends in like real life, and I think that's what makes me like it so much.
I would probably agree. I think this is one of my favorites. In terms of the movies, it's just really funny. There's not much wrong with it. I think most of the funny stuff comes from the fact that it was like done well.
Yeah.
Obviously there's probably some stuff here or there. Well, I don't know. I just think it's just like a funny movie. Just Harry being on this luck potion, and he's just acting like just such a little shit.
Yeah, Harry is just, like I said, it balances it well because it's able to have you be like, oh, this is such a fun, funny Harry Potter movie, and then also it's like, oh, this is genuinely like actually sad now, like, and it doesn't feel too sharp or anything. Like, it does a great job, I feel, of balancing those two tones.
It's probably the most fun and sad Harry Potter movie, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely give this movie Chad status.
Yeah, I would agree. Chaddist as well. Yeah.
Like I said, I like this one a lot. I feel like I don't know why, but a lot of people feel it's like, I don't know. I think they feel like it's a little not their favorite, and I don't really know why, because I just have so much fun with this one.
If anything, it's like at worst, it's like middle of the road Harry Potter movie. At best, it's maybe the best one.
Right.
Yeah.
We said at the same time.
Yeah,
we've done that so many times in this episode. Every time I edit, I'm like, I gotta come up with some other words like besides, but yeah, like that's what I. But yeah, like I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, these are my one of my favorite Harry Potter movies, and one that I'm not as huge on, but I still think both of them are really fun. Like I said, I feel like pretty much every movie in this franchise is you got to watch them all when you're watching it.
Yeah,
And
they're all pretty great
yeah. So
in their own right. Besides Chamber of Secrets,
it
but it does have probably my favorite moment of the whole series. So,
which is what Lucius Malfoy trying to kill a 12-year-old boy.
yep. No, it's when Harry asked like the whole question to Dumbledore about like why wasn't I put in Slytherin? I don't get it. Don't I have all these things that like make me a Slytherin? And then Dumbledore just tells him, "You were in Gryffindor because you chose to be in Gryffindor." I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got one more of these puppies left.
Hell yeah.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 coming to you guys, all one of you, in April. Yeah, we'll be back next week with whatever. We're also going to be doing our official ranking, favorite to least favorite.
Oh,
least favorite
shit.
to least favorite to favorite. It's okay,
Wow.
Tommy. You can write them down in the 5 minutes before we record the next one.
Okay, yeah.
So thanks for listening, everyone, and bye-bye.